tell me more about this kid and who he is and what we saw last night, Pete.
He is the Michael Jordan of Delaware. That is one of his labels. He is from Delaware. He was an under-recruited guy. I think his final two were Syracuse and Nova, but he was not a guy that they had to beat off Kentucky or Duke to get. He was not like a big McDonald's All-American national recruit. He had actually, on their title team year, he had played in 10 games and started one. He broke a bone in his foot, and so he took a red shirt that year. So someone asked him about the first title team last night, and he said he watched in a suit on the bench, which I thought was kind of a good line. I mean, and he was their sixth-man extraordinaire this year. He started 10 games, I think, but for the most part, he was a guy who came off the bench and played starters minutes. We saw him do to Alabama in the second game of the tournament the same thing he did Michigan. He had 18 in the first half against Alabama. And look, like calling around about Mikal Bridges a couple of weeks ago for a profile of him. He's obviously the surefire lottery pick on Villanova. A couple NBA guys were like, don't be surprised if DiVincenzo ends up in our league. They didn't think it would be immediately. It could be immediately now. But he's a guy, because of his explosiveness. I mean, think about the best play I think he made all night was he misses a shot in the lane, one of the very few, and he's in the cameras. And he does a full sprint down and pins the ball on a block. I forget who shot it. It might have been
Simpson. I think it was Simpson who did that. Yeah.
I think it was. And he pins the ball to the rim, and it gets stuck there. I mean, that was just everything you want. It was athleticism. It was unbelievable hustle, and then timing. I can't recall a guy who has had more aggressive and violent putback dunks. He's a violent jumper, if that makes sense. Like when he launches towards the rim, there's something different about it. There's a level of athleticism and twitch there that's on a higher plane. He had a couple putbacks in Boston that I remember in the East region, sort of sitting up in press row, being like, "Whoa, that's different." You don't see that. You don't see that every day. So, I mean, what a great story. And I don't think, Rich, you can sit back and say, "Oh, Michigan didn't play that well."
No.
I thought they played all right. I thought
Pete,
they had a good game plan, and then one guy just came and delivered a haymaker. And sometimes there's not much you can do. When he hit that heat check three in the first half, you were like, okay, this is where this is going.
I know.
It's pretty obvious.
I know. I was feeling the same way. And by the way, that block that on Simpson, a lot of my fellow Wolverines on Twitter thought was a goaltend, but the ball was never above the rim. I mean, that's why he was able to pin it inside, around the rim right there. But to me, I thought his most impressive block was the two-handed one on Matthews, who was a wide open path to the basket, it seemed. And man, this kid DiVincenzo deserved the most outstanding player. He was absolutely incredible.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.